Welcome to Tamer Bowling Video Ball Reviews. We need your support, so if you like what we do, please support us by joining our Patreon page. Visit our partner pureatbowling.com and use the special code TAMER when making a purchase to be entered into a monthly drawing. I want to thank Limerick Bowl for their support. If you're in the area, don't forget to visit Limerick Bowl in Limerick, Pennsylvania. Today we're testing the new Storm Signature line ball, the Storm ProMotion. We're testing on a 40-foot medium house shot and the 40-foot Kegel Abbey Road pattern. First impressions, the Storm ProMotion hooks a lot. It hooks in the mids and makes a huge turn down lane. For value, we gave the ProMotion a B-. It's on the stronger side, so it will be a go for some and a no for others depending on the conditions you face. Overall, we gave it a B- on house, B+ on sport shot. If you're here, you may be intrigued by another, quote, Belle MO ball. You'll be happy to know that whether or not you're a fan of Belle MO or the previous balls in the signature line, the ProMotion is different and better in most ways. But I have to come back to my first impression. I mean, holy cow, is this thing strong. The ball definitely reads the mids strongly, and the core definitely pops down lane. So the first element I see is what I call trust. Throw it, and you know it'll not skid through and miss the break point, and you know it'll make the turn. The tough part for me was it forced me way deeper than I would ever bother playing on a house shot. It forced me deeper than the other balls we tested, in fact, the Halo Vision and Idol Pro. However, those are also not 2000 grit. Nevertheless, I usually get easy projection, and I felt like I couldn't push this one through. It just read and went. I remember when I first tested the Phase 2 and it forced me pretty deep as well to start. However, that was still easier to get to the spot. It had almost an asymmetric shape when the ball was fresh. This ball isn't too far off, if I'm totally honest, but it has more of that booming, traditional symmetric down lane look. I'll also say I'm warming up to the spec cover. It's clearly a very strong cover, and more importantly lets the core very clearly display its own characteristics, so you got strong mids and strong back ends here. Jeremy's our next tester, and with the higher speed and more tilt, more revs, he can stay a touch more direct than I could, as his style can force the ball through the mids. He still sees strong mid lane read with that strong back end. Can't really miss in at all, as it'll not hold, and this is one of the downfalls of really continuous strong symmetrics on house shots. You want a little forgiveness there. There were also opportunities to get outside and not recover due to just too much energy loss, and like many strong balls, they just kind of lose energy if you push them too far out into the friction. I think a bit more volume would make it easier to use this piece, or perhaps less surface. I'm kind of curious about the surface adjustments though on this ball, as when we did it with the Crux Prime, there was a clear window that cover seemed to like. It didn't feel as usably tweakable, but maybe a topic for a future video. Bryan was next, and he saw the typical too much surface, not enough ball reaction shape. This was a little surprising given how much back end others were seeing. However, with his game, it didn't seem to match up very well. The early read forced him in, but as he got in, he lost hit. He had to thread the needle to carry. He was left feeling a bit of that, oh, this ball is for high rev guys. I wouldn't say that's completely accurate for the ProMotion, but certainly with his rev rate combined with the tilt, the ball felt like it needed a hill it simply couldn't climb. Onto the sport shot, we tested on the 40-foot Cagle Abbey Road pattern. With the amount of friction there was, the best look was about 11-4 for me. With other balls, that line wouldn't make sense, but because the ball controls the mids and pops down lane, it was the best look. As I start to navigate in, I found it near impossible. The ball would not push to the break point and kept reading early. Nothing was remotely close until I finally got to, say, like 20-8. And at that point, that's just too much angle for me. For Jeremy, 18-7 looked really good. More speed, and the ball also seemed to be a bit smoother down lane for him. The ball does go through the pins very nicely, and even that nice miss gave him a scatter carry. For Bryan, his look wasn't very different from what he saw on house. He had good pocket control, but the ball just doesn't have enough energy to drive out the corners consistently when he opened up the angles through the fronts. Final thoughts. At the end of the day, the Storm Pro Motion does have the makings of a good ball. The elements I mentioned early on lead to what I call trust. And those same elements mean if you don't have enough volume, the ball seems almost unusable. However, I can see this ball coming into play when you are playing on heavier house shots, longer sport shots, when you have fewer boards at the end of the pattern, but you need a ball to turn that corner. The other thing I will note, which is somewhat rare for Storm, since I personally use 14-pound balls, I love the fact that the 14-pound specs are close to the 15-pound balls. If you're looking for a strong symmetric piece, the Pro Motion is definitely worth a look.
I need to tell you the one Tamer Elbaga reviews.